Math Blast 29, Reading and Writing Decimals. Find the mystery number. Let's review the place values first. Here I have my decimal point. To the right of the decimal point, I have the tenths, hundredths, and thousandths. To the left of the decimal point, I have ones, tens, hundreds, thousands, and 10,000s. So I'm going to put each digit in the correct place value. 6 is going in the hundreds place, a 4 in the ones place, a 3 in the tenths place, an 8 in the thousands place, 9 in the tens place, 0 in the hundredths place, a 5 in the 10,000s place, and a 1 in the thousandths place. The number is 58,694 and 301 thousandths. Standard form, the number is given to me here, and I want to write it in unit form. So here, it's asking for the unit form using thousands, tens, and hundredths. So I'm going to go to the thousands place in my number here, all the way out to the 8 here. 3,408 thousands are in my number. Tens, what's left here to the tens place would be 26 tens. And then out to the hundredths place would be 749 hundredths left to make up the whole number. Now, I want to write the standard form for the given unit form. I have 62 thousands, 800s, and 502 tenths. So I'm going to put a decimal point, and I know I need to go out to the tenths. And there's my ones, tens, hundreds, thousands, but notice I have 62 thousands, so the 2 will have to end in my thousands place. So we'll need another place value, the 10,000s. So now I have 62 ending in the thousands, 8 ends in the hundreds, and 502 ending in the tenths. The number is 62,850 and 2 tenths. Scaling factor. Circle the scaling factor in each problem. Then fill in the blank to make the statement true and explain how you know. Here, I have 8 times 2 hundredths. Notice that 8 is the number I have each time here, so we're scaling it by 2 hundredths. And this would be less than 8 itself because 8 is being multiplied. And I'm going to put that up here. 8 is multiplied by ... So each time we'll identify what's happening. In this case, 8 times 2 hundredths is less than 8 because 8 is multiplied by a number less than 1. And if we multiply by a number less than 1, then we're going to get a number that's less than the number we started with. Here I have my 8, and I'm scaling it by 1 and 2 hundredths. So it's going to be greater than 8 because, again, 8 is being multiplied by a number greater than 1. And here we have 8 times 7 sevenths. 7 sevenths is my scaling factor, and it equals 8 because 8 is being multiplied by a number equal to 1. Volume word problems. I made a fort for my pet gorilla by connecting 2 boxes. The first box is 5 meters long, 9 meters wide, and 9 meters high. The second box is 3 meters long, 8 meters wide, and 2 meters high. How many cubic meters of space does my gorilla have to play in her fort? All right, well, we know there are 2 boxes that make up the fort. So I'm going to say box 1 plus box 2. And for box 1, we need to find the volume. which is 5 meters long, 9 meters wide, and 9 meters high. So volume, we know, is equal to length times width times height for rectangular prisms. In this case, our length we said was 5 meters, the width is 9 meters, and the height is 9 meters. And 5 times 9 is 45, times 9 again is 405. So the volume is 405 meters cubed for the first box. Now for our second box, again, we're going to use the same formula, volume equals length times width times height, but this time the length of the box is 3, the width is 8, and the height is 2, all in meters. And 3 times 8 is 24, times 2 is 48. So the volume of box 2 is 48. Meters times meters is meters squared, times meters again is meters cubed. Now the volume of both boxes together would be the 405 meters cubed plus the 48 meters cubed, which we know equals 453 meters cubed. So how many cubic meters of space does my gorilla have to play in her fort? The gorilla has 453 cubic meters of space to play in the fort. Area of rectangles. Find the area of a rectangle with the dimensions 2 3/8 inches by 4 1/4 inches. The formula for area of rectangles will be length times width. Here we know we have 2 3/8 inches times 4 1/4 inches. That will give me the area. Now I know if I have eighths here, 2 in eighths is 16/8 because every whole is 8/8 when the unit is eighths. So 16/8 plus another 3/8 is 19/8. I'm going to show this as an improper fraction. 19/8 inches. Now when my units are fourths, every whole is 4/4. So 4 wholes would be 16/4, plus this 1/4 here would be 17/4 inches. Now when I multiply these together, I have 19/8 times 17/4. And 19 times 17 is 323. And 8 times 4 is 32. So the area is equal to 323 32 inches. Now we can look at this as a division problem, and it's 323 divided by 32. I can pull 10 groups of 32 out of this. 10 groups of 32 is 320, and I have 3 left over, so 3/32 of another whole. So the area is equal to 10 3/32 inches squared. Classify shapes. Complete the hierarchy. Identify each shape by circling each name that applies. Then tell which is the most specific name and why. All right, I'm going to complete the hierarchy here first. I'm going to go down, and I know that shapes that have 4 sides are called quadrilaterals. A quadrilateral that has one set of parallel sides, or at least one set of parallel sides, is a trapezoid. A quadrilateral that has 2 sets of parallel sides is a parallelogram. A parallelogram with 4 right angles is a rectangle. And a parallelogram that has 4 equal sides is a rhombus. A figure that's a rectangle and a rhombus is a square. A square is a quadrilateral with 4 equal sides and 4 right angles. So now let's go up and look at shape 1. Shape 1 is a quadrilateral. It has 4 sides. It also has at least one pair of parallel sides, so we can call it a trapezoid. It actually has 2 pairs of parallel sides, so we're going to call it a parallelogram as well. There are 4 right angles, so it's a rectangle. There are not 4 equal sides, so we can't call it a rhombus. And since it's not a rhombus, it's also not a square, because keep in mind, a square is a rectangle and a rhombus. So the most specific name for shape 1 is a rectangle. Let's look at shape 2. Shape 2 has 4 sides. It's a quadrilateral. It has at least one pair of parallel sides. Therefore, it's a trapezoid. Again, look, it actually has 2 pairs of parallel sides, so we can call it a parallelogram as well. It does not have 4 right angles. It actually has 2 obtuse angles and 2 acute angles, so we can't call it a rectangle. But it does have 4 equal sides, so we're going to call it a rhombus. It is not a square because it doesn't have those 4 right angles with the 4 equal sides. So the most specific name for shape 2 is a rhombus.